Hey, freshmen and freshman families. This is Mrs. Anaya coming to you with some sophomore year schedule request information. I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of what will be presented to your students starting next week to start making some plans for their schedules for next year. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start off with a review of graduation requirements. So there's still 24 credits that are required to graduate from Wenatchee High School. They still need to complete their graduation pathway, and the simplest way to meet that requirement is for them to take and pass the Smarter Balance Assessment the spring of their sophomore year. So I highly encourage that students take that assessment because it's an easy way to meet the graduation requirement and kind of move on. If students aren't able to pass that assessment with the minimum cut score, we do have additional options, but that will be a conversation for later if necessary. Washington State history is another graduation requirement, and students who have been in the Wenatchee School District in 7th and 8th grade have likely already met that requirement, and it's already marked off on their transcript as complete. However, if that's not the case, we do have an option for students to still be able to meet that requirement here at Wenatchee High School, and again, that will be another conversation if needed. And then finally, the high school and beyond plan. And that is completed through our School Links platform. I would encourage you parents to be checking in with your students to go into School Links and to look at their dashboard and to look at their to-do list. If there are still items on that to-do list, they are required for your student to continue to make progress towards completing tasks that they will be doing every school year to help them work towards completing their high school and beyond plan. These activities are designed to help students think about what they want to do after high school and to kind of help them start making a plan around their post-secondary goals. So again, the work in School Links is very important and it is required. So check in with your student about that, check out School Links, and let's keep making some progress on that. All right, then we're going to do an overview of their transcript. I'm going to help students go into School Links again and teach them how to access an unofficial copy of their transcript, which should look just like this. The steps are listed here on the screen. They click on the student icon, click Records Request, and then click Download an Unofficial Transcript. And they can access this 24/7 using the School Links app. So if you ever need a copy of it, just ask them to pull it up and you should be good to go because it's the exact same thing that we pull up on our end. But it should look something like this with classes that they, now that they've made it through a full semester at Wenatchee High School, they should have first semester grades posted, all the classes that they took. And then at the bottom, I do want to point out how to find their cumulative GPA. And this is important moving forward. So I do want them to know where to find that because it will come into play in just a few slides. And then I will also be reviewing our Wenatchee High School credit evaluations, also known as a credit check. Yes, students do need 24 total credits to graduate from Wenatchee High School, but those credits are in specific subject areas. For example, they need 4 full credits of English to meet the requirement and graduate from Wenatchee High School. And in social studies, they need 3 full credits. And within those 3 credits, there are specific courses that they have to take to meet the requirement. So please go ahead and pause this slide if you want to review it a little bit further, but please note that there are some specific courses that have to be taken to meet the requirements. And we'll dive more into that here in just a moment. All right, going to take some time to introduce our accelerated pathways. Some of you are already familiar with this because you joined us on our accelerated pathways informational night. But I'm going to do a quick overview here because it is information that will be presented to your students if they're thinking about moving in that direction. So here is our accelerated pathways college and career success team. We have our counselors, Mrs. Brender and Mrs. Stuber, and they work with students in grades 10 through 12, and they split the caseload based on the last name. So first letter of their last name is how they split it. And then we also have Mrs. Speets and Mrs. Brown, who are our accelerated pathway coordinators. They work everyone here works as a team to kind of help support students who have chosen to move into one of our accelerated pathways. They're doing check-ins with them and offering support as they're making their journeys. So let's go ahead and dive into the options in our accelerated pathways. The first option, again, this is just going to be a really quick overview. And you are welcome to pause this slide and read through all of this information if it's something that interests you. But Wenatchee High School now offers an opportunity for students to earn their DTA. It's also known as an associate's degree, right? This is what they would be able to work towards if they were doing a running start their junior and senior year at Wenatchee Valley College. But we now have the option to work towards that by taking courses here at Wenatchee High School. So again, pause this slide, read through it. If it's something that you are interested in, please let your student know to make a note of that on their request form, and I will tell you how to do that here in just a moment. All right, here is a breakdown of the courses that are required to earn a direct transfer agreement, or the AA, through Wenatchee High School. So there are certain classes that need to be taken and a certain number of writing classes or humanities or elective credits. It breaks it down on this form. You can, again, go ahead and pause and kind of read through it. And if you have any questions on that, I will let you guys know who to connect with to get some additional information to help you make your decision. So go ahead and pause and review this form. Now, our GERs, or our general education requirements. This is a group of classes that students need to take as they're working towards their bachelor's degree. And again, go ahead and pause, read through the options and look at how it's mapped out if this is something that your student is thinking of doing. And students who end up choosing the GER pathway or the DTA pathway are sometimes eligible for open periods during their junior and senior year. Again, this is something that you can talk through with one of our accelerated pathways counselors or the CTE coordinators. And again, I'll give you their contact information here in just a moment. All right. In addition to those pathways, we have our programs of study. And these are kind of groups of classes that help students focus on a specific career field or pathway. They're very hands-on courses, and they are also designed to kind of get some students some on-site, career-connected experience and opportunities. We have partnered with some of our local community agencies that students sometimes do on-site training with, and really have worked to create opportunities to get students connected and going right after high school. So here is a breakdown of all the different programs of study that Wenatchee High School currently offers. And again, if you want to pause this so that you can review all the different programs of study, we have some in the health sciences and in the STEM area and businesses. So if a student's thinking, I don't know, law and criminal justice, we do have our program of study recommended courses that Wenatchee High School offers right here. So we would recommend that they make a plan over the next couple of years to take these classes and work towards completing one of our programs of study. If they're thinking about nursing, we have a block of classes right over here that they can review and make a plan to take those courses and help them, again, make some progress towards getting some hands-on experience and making some connections and getting ready for a future in the nursing profession. So there's a bunch. Pause the slide, review, and let me know if we have questions. All right, and then a newer option here is called our High Honors Pathway, and starting with the class of 2029 and beyond. So this is an opportunity for students who really want to challenge themselves with the most rigorous options that Wenatchee High School has to offer. And what that looks like is on the slide. It is not necessarily based on credits. It is based on full years of participation in the following areas. So go ahead and pause this slide and review what the requirements are. And if you have more questions about this, or you're interested in just talking through this further, again, I will get you some information to connect with our Accelerated Pathways team, and we can work on making a plan. And there's the school bell. All right. So if you are interested in any of the accelerated pathways that we discussed, here is a slide with all of our accelerated pathways team and their contact information. Feel free to shoot them a message, ask questions. You can set up a time to meet and discuss things further. Or again, feel free to reach out to me and I will loop them in and get you connected. Okay, but we're moving on. Here is the form that I will be giving to all of our students so to help them map out what they will be requesting for next year. This form might look familiar because it's the same format as we used last year when they were planning for freshman year, but I'm going to go through each section individually. And again, I'm going to do this in a quick way to save you guys a little bit of time, but I'll go more in depth when I'm actually with your students next week. English. There are 4 credits required for graduation, and for sophomore year, there are only 2 options: regular sophomore English or advanced sophomore English. And for advanced sophomore English, it moves at a faster pace, and it is more reading and writing intensive. So whatever fits your student best, I would like them to make a check mark next to that option, and that is what we will plan on. For math, it all depends on where your student's at right now. So most students started out in Algebra 1, and it's a full year class. So at the end of this year, they should be ready to move into geometry. Geometry for a full year. If your student started off in geometry this year, they should be moving into a full year of Algebra 2. Or we do have an accelerated option for that. They can do first semester Algebra 2 and second semester trigonometry if they're wanting to move faster. So they can go ahead and make a mark next to either one of those options, or they can circle it probably, and then we can go ahead and plan on that. If your student's already in that accelerated option, they took Algebra 2 and Trig this year, the next step for them would be pre-calculus. So I'll go ahead and circle that option, okay? For social studies, starting next year, we're getting our kiddos started in our social studies. So the requirement for sophomore year is a full year, but one of the 2 courses that make up the full year will be focused on contemporary world issues. We have 4 classes that would meet that requirement. CWI, which is a contemporary world issues class, Law and Justice, AP Human Geography, and then our JROTC class. So whichever option your student prefers, go ahead and have them circle that option or make a mark next to it, and we'll plan on that. In addition to their CWI selection, they do need to select one more course, their social studies elective for that year, and there are a bunch of options. If you guys would like to know a course description for any of these, please go into School Links and please go into the course catalog. It can also be accessed through the counseling website. And you can type in the name of any one of these classes and it will give you a full course description about what that class is going to be focused on. That can help you kind of make a better decision as to what you would like to do. But they need to select one option from our CWI selections and then another one from the social studies elective options. For science, I am strongly encouraging students to continue on with their science next year. You're going to notice that a lot of required course content classes are going to be taking up most of the space. And yes, freshman and sophomore year are kind of designed to get a lot of core content work done, and which frees up a little bit of space their junior and senior year. So at the end of this year, all freshmen should have taken 1 life science and 1 physical science, which would mean that they should have a full credit of science by the end of their freshman year. That still means they need 2 more credits. And if there are 5 credit classes that they're taking, that's 4 5-credit classes. So they still have a handful of classes to complete the requirement. So again, my encouragement is for them to sign up for more science classes next year. And there are a lot of them that are available to our kiddos, and I'll touch base on that here in just a moment. Moving on to your PE and health requirements. All freshmen should have taken either 2 PE classes or a PE and a health class this year, which means that you would only have a few more classes remaining. So there is a credit and a half that's required for PE. So if you took 1 PE class this year, you still have 2 more PE classes to go. And if you took your health this year, you are done. You can focus on PE. I strongly encourage students to take these their sophomore year. Again, get them done, get them out of the way so that it frees up some space your junior and senior year for other elective options. Okay, so whatever those selections are, make sure you circle them or kind of rank them and let me know what you would prefer to take. Okay. All right, for anyone who has taken international language or wants to start an international language next year, we do have a 2-credit requirement. Or if you're not wanting to take international language, you can replace those with something from your personalized pathway, which is kind of a different way of saying classes that are within your specific career interests, right? Kind of going back to that program of study map, right? So we have 4 different options for international language, and starting next year, all of our international language classes will be college and the high school level courses, which you can take them in a single semester. That's known as our condensed version. You'll take it for 1 semester, like let's say Spanish, for example. First semester of Spanish will be Spanish 101. You can walk away with a full credit because it's a 5-credit university course, right? Or you can take it in our stretched model, which means you'll still do the Spanish 101, but you'll do it over the course of 2 semesters instead of just 1. So it'll move at a bit of a slower pace. Okay, so it's whatever kind of meets your needs, but that's kind of how international language will work starting next year. Or if you haven't started an international language and you already speak another language, you can take the STAM test, and you can earn up to 4 credits for showing competency in whichever language you take that test in. Okay. If you want more information about the STAM test, please let me know. But yeah, that's international language. And now quickly touching on AVID. If you are an AVID student, you will be automatically enrolled into that class next year. It is, again, only a 1 semester course for the year. And yeah, you will be automatically enrolled in it. So it does roll up with you. If you have more questions about AVID, please let me know. All right, so kind of what I was talking about in regards to science. Here's kind of a breakdown of all the things that sophomores are able to take, and I will also be giving this to your students. It shows every subject area here at Wenatchee High School and all the courses, again, that they're eligible to take. It shows whether or not there are prerequisites for those courses, so classes that they have to have completed successfully prior to taking that class. And it also shows if the class is approved by the NCAA. So here's something to think about. If your student's a student athlete thinking to go on to college and play, a Division I, Division II sports, they also need to be tracking the classes that they're taking and making sure that they are NCAA approved. As a counselor, I do not track that on my end. That is the student's responsibility. But I do have some information to kind of help them track that as they go. So again, they might need to factor in whether or not their course is NCAA approved, because there are some that are not, but most are. Well, I mean, you're going to see here that there's quite a few that are not. So they have to pay attention to that. Okay. But also when it comes to science, back on track. When it comes to science, we have a lot of options. And you'll see here that some are worth science credit or CTE credit. It can be counted in either field. So I can check off any one of those boxes, right? And this one counts for science, CTE, or health, which is cool. So when making additional science selections, go ahead and kind of review this list. Look at the course description in School Links to see what these classes are about and whether or not it's a good fit. Pay attention on whether or not there's prerequisites involved, and then go ahead and make your selections. But all additional science elective options that are going to help you make progress towards the 3 credits that are required overall are right here. And again, keep in mind that for all these classes, getting it into your schedule is based on availability. Okay, some of these classes fill up with upperclassmen, like seniors and juniors. So it's possible that even though you request it, you might not get it if it fills up before I'm able to add it into your schedule. Okay, so that's where this form comes into play. Now that we've gone through all the areas and you know what the requirements and recommendations are, I would like you to take your selections from the other side of that sheet and add them here. I will be using this side of the sheet to enter requests into the system for you, okay? So if it's going to be regular sophomore English, you're going to put it into both first and second semester because it is a full year deal. If you're moving from Algebra 1 into Geometry, you're going to put Geometry into both of these boxes because, again, it's a full year deal. Whatever your CWI option is going to go here. Your Social Studies elective option is going to go here. And then if you're taking additional sciences, you're going to add it here and here. Please take some science. And then if you're going to keep moving on with your PE, add it here. If you haven't taken your health and you're going to do it sophomore year, you add it here. And then your additional electives are going to go right down here. Okay, again, it's very core content heavy for sophomore year, but that will start to change as you move into junior and senior year once you get a lot of these requirements completed. Okay. You'll notice that down at the bottom, I do have some additional information I need to collect from you. If you are interested in taking the stamp test, please select this box. I will add you to a list to get you some information once the registration window opens next school year, and make sure that you can get signed up for that. And then there are accelerated pathways. Please check this box if you have a 2.5 or higher and are interested in any of the accelerated pathways that I mentioned. There is some additional paperwork that needs to be completed if you are choosing to move into an accelerated pathway, and our accelerated pathway team members will be connecting with you to talk through all those options in more detail. So just keep in mind that there will be some additional steps if that's the route that you're choosing to go, which is totally fine. It's just we're going to connect a little bit more and make sure that we have everything lined up for you, right? And then I do provide some space here at the bottom for you to list any alternatives that you would like me to keep in mind. Because remember, if you took health and nutrition this year and you've passed it with a C or better, you are thinking maybe I want to do one of the cooking classes next year. And I'm just throwing out advanced foods as an example. Advanced foods is a popular class. Same thing with our baking and pastries class. It's a popular class. So it's possible that by the time that I get to build your sophomore year schedule, seniors and juniors have maybe scooped up all the available spots in that class, which means you're not going to get a space, right? So if that's what happens and I cannot get it into your schedule, I'm going to refer to your alternates to pick something that I know that you still have an interest in and try and get it added into your schedule. Again, I'm going to do my very best to honor your requests and get them into the schedule as best as I can. So alternates are still pretty important, right? I need to know some backups just in case I can't get you into one of your top 12, right? And then from here, this is kind of like what our next steps are. This first step, what I'm talking through right now, is the request process. I'm going to give you all the information. I'm going to ask that you fill out that request form, and I'm going to collect all of them from you. I will be the one to put them into schoolings for you, okay? And then once all this data is collected, I'm going to get the green light to build your schedules probably at the end of May, early June. And once I've built all the schedules, you're going to get 2, maybe 3 days to go into the system and see what was built, to see what your sophomore year schedule will look like. And I will be open to taking some feedback if I've made any mistakes in your schedule, okay? And when I say mistakes, I mean like, oh, you forgot my English class, which I don't hope won't happen, but like, hey, if something does, let me know. This, however, will not be a time where I'm going to be making changes based on like change in preference, okay? So it is very important that you take this request process as seriously as you can and be very thoughtful about your selections, okay? I will not be making changes based on preference until August, okay? And we do this to kind of honor our request system. We want to make sure that all grades have had a chance to have their schedules built based on their requests before we go through and start making changes because we've had a change in thought, all right? So keep that in mind. And again, once we get to the start of the new school year, we will have an open window for students to request changes based on whatever has an open seat, right? So you guys have kind of seen that process before. So again, I want to reiterate, please be thoughtful about your selections. Take it seriously, talk it through as a family. kind of, like spend some time thinking about this, right? Because I'm going to build your schedule based on what you request. And then moving forward into that final stage right before school starts, please remember, and I'm going to say it every single time, that we do not make changes at Wenatchee High School based on teacher preference, on friend preference, or on class period preference. Okay, if you have a full schedule of all the classes that you want, but you want them in a different order because of, I don't know, any number of reasons, I cannot do that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. We do not make changes based on teacher preference, friend preference, or just shuffling the schedule around. Okay. And I think that's about it. Again, sorry if this was a bit long. I try to keep it short and sweet, and there's probably a lot more that I can say. Actually, for a fact, there is a lot more that I can say, but I'm gonna, again, try and honor your time and leave it at that. But if you have questions, please let me know. If you want more information about the accelerated pathways, please reach out to our accelerated pathway team or let me know, and I'm happy to loop them in and get you connected. But I will start meeting with students next week, which is the week of the 9th, and I will be working with them through the 19th. And then we have conferences on the 20th. So please connect with your student. I will be calling classes down based on their English class. So whenever they go to their freshman English class, their teachers are assigned a specific date, and we're going to be calling them down and doing this work. So next couple weeks, focused on schedule requests for sophomore year. Questions, let me know. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing everyone here soon. Bye-bye.